Good evening, everyone. It is that wonderful time again that has been so long, but here we are for VRS Thursdays. I'm joined by the incomparable Shogun and Kongman. Fellas, it's been a long time. How you doing tonight?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
I am ecstatic to be with the Buds, casting the best Victoris League there is once again. It should be an absolute banger. Kongman, you feeling the energy tonight?
Oh, let me just say, I have not opened my League client since finals because I was that sad that it ended, so I'm glad to be back, and I'm already seeing some very spicy buffs coming through, so let me just say I'm ready to see this meta change.
What about Sejuani? You ready for a little bit of a Sejuani appearance? We got, a buffed up Poro Rider coming through. Could make your night. We might even see Kale. There's been whispers of. I'm sure that would make
Mm.
Shogun ecstatic and so
Woo!
happy
I
to be
love
back.
kale.
Woo, Kale!
Yeah,
But
Kale Gaming.
it's what we're known for here on VRS Thursdays. It should be an absolute blast. But welcome to all of our viewers who are returning or new to us here for our Thursday night extravaganza. Just a quick rundown if you're not familiar with the VRS. We are a Diamond Cap League here. We do a bit of a three-group setup. We have tons of teams. We have a nice long season, and we have an absolute banger broadcast team. Your play-by-play being Mr. Shogun, your color commentator being Kongman, and me, Infinite Dodge, being your host, who will interrogate these gentlemen into admitting which League of Legends characters they have crushes on the weekly basis. Not that Kongman needs very much help with that when it comes to our broadcast. And as far as the teams we have going tonight, we have our returning champions of the spring split in Dorado Gaming Zeta. We have newcomers in Astral Marauders. I just saw Kongman get up and leave because he has been so frustrated at me outing his Shyvana appreciation status here on broadcast. But we have two great teams here. Guys, how are we feeling about this matchup tonight? What are we expecting to see between our newcomers and our known quantity?
Well, I am obviously expecting Dorado to come out strong, come out swinging, and probably win this one. I would see them winning it. If we're doing predictions, I don't know if we want to get into all of that yet.
Let's talk about a little bit of what we expect. We'll segue into the predictions as we go, but just
Mhm.
sort of anything that can be gleaned by looking. I mean, Dorado Gaming, like we said, known quantity, but Kongman, I know you were gleaning some of the LP.GGs, doing a little bit of your scouting on Astral Marauders. Anything we can expect about the matchup here tonight that you might be able to break down for us?
I mean, like, I just quickly pulled back up the OPGG because I'm sure I would accidentally forget something. One thing that I definitely want to point out is that Mr. Iron Mike, their jungler, is a really big avid Karthus jungler, which is something you don't really see a whole lot because Karthus is probably, I want to say, the squishiest jungler in League of Legends. But it is what is known as the ticking time bomb. So it is basically going to be one of those, if they are allowed to pick Karthus, can they just stall the game long enough to let this time bomb walk out and just nuke everything?
Yeah, it's a bit of that malice herbivore jungle style, just full clear on repeat. You don't gank really unless you see like an unskippably great opportunity to do so. You wait to level 6 and then you just press R on repeat. There are some issues, of course, like you mentioned, with being squishy and getting invaded on, though, and especially in, we're not at the peak of 5v5 competition level. We have a nice high elo league here in the VRS, but it's not LCS. So your coordination slips sometimes, you get invaded on. Could be a risky pick, but if they make it work, it could be really, really exciting. Uh, Getting over into the predictions then, as now that we know a little bit of a detail about, this new team coming into the VRS, do you think the sort of off meta style pick like the Karthus jungle, the sort of vibe that Astral Marauders is bringing tonight is going to be enough to give them the victory over dogs? What's the prediction vibe feeling like? Starting with you, Mr. Shogun.
Uh, well, just based on how Dorado Gaming Zeta did on the previous split, of course they won, so it's kind of hard to see them losing this series. So I am gonna have to give it to them 2-0 for it this week. However, I wouldn't be too surprised. I'd be a little surprised if the Astral Marauders did take a game off of Dorado, but what a lot of these teams like to do is when they're coming off of such a great split, they'll maybe like let their guards down, or they'll try something new, try to experiment, especially if they do think that the team they're going up against is one of their weaker opponents. They might, try some different comps so that they're more prepared for later weeks when they go up against tougher opponents. So there is always that chance for 2-1. But if I were a betting man, I would definitely put this as a 2-0.
Very nice, very nice. Kongman, now is a time to sort of let everybody know about what the saga was like last year with last split with your
Last
predictions.
year, who feels
Oh,
like
can
it?
you imagine? I mean, with time moving as fast as it has the past couple of years, I wouldn't even be surprised at this point. But no, during the spring split, you amassed a bit of a reputation for having interesting prediction predilections. Where does your special prediction power lead you tonight? Are you going with the Astro Marauders here to take this series to open up the VRS?
All right, so the funny thing is, I went 0-6 to start last season in predictions. Not a pretty good start, and then Team Ambition Sakura really helped turn that around for me. And then I got a nice little 6-game winning streak through playoffs. And then we hit finals, and then I incorrectly guessed Oasis beating out Dorado. And I told Dorado that next time I would cast them, I would predict them to win. And even looking at these teams, I don't see any scenario in which Dorado loses this. So I got to say Dorado 2-0.
Very nice, very nice. Gentlemen, I am in full agreement with you, of course. We saw Dorado smash every obstacle in their path last split. It was pretty cool to watch. We saw them take down Team Disco a couple times, tangle with Team Ambition Sakura in that winter kickoff tournament. We saw them take the whole shabooey there in the first split. They brought home all the Gurf coin for themselves, win that prize pool at the end of playoffs. So I think they are a bit of an unstoppable force and should be the expected favorites coming in. I'm also going with Dorado 2-0, but I do like Shogun's point that, there are reasons why you wouldn't come out swinging in week one. If you've already been victorious in this league, or perhaps Victoris in this league, you need to sort of up your game a little bit because you can't let the other teams play catch up. You need to learn new strats. You need to maybe premiere some new things on stage, or if you've already been developing new strats, it's also possible that you want to hide those strats if you're playing against a weaker team you think you're going to beat anyway. And that sort of goes to the assessment of who, this Astro Marauders team is as a cohesive unit. We haven't seen them play yet, but just gleaning the OP.GGs, the rank disparity is there. I do believe it's a couple of gold players over there for Astro Marauders, where it's a couple of diamond players over for Dorado. So not that that's always indicative of how the matchup's going to go in a 5v5 environment, but it definitely could go to show Dorado could do a little bit of troll and a little bit of the off meta spice. And speaking of that off meta spice, I know you guys are a bit new to the world of post 12-6 League of Legends. We had a lot of shifts. You guys have any off meta stuff in particular you want to see that isn't Shyvana or Sejuani?
I think Jinx is pretty off meta. Um,
You
yeah,
know what?
that champion's never ever popular. It's not like she has AoE crits or like one of the best late game
Yo,
scaler
wait.
champions in the game.
I
Wait,
swear
wait.
it's not as good as it was. Like teams are not picking it like they
True.
were.
That's true. It's not
Like
nearly as good as it was, but it realistically it's pretty strong, and it feels like it's never getting nerfed. It got nerfed, I think, like last patch, and then like a good few patches ago. So maybe now it's starting to get phased out, but still feels pretty good and a
I
competitive
think
setting, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. I think the play style of Jinx as well is one that maybe you can tap down on in that, premier 5v5 meta that is the highest levels of pro competition. But in a less organized capacity like the VRS, where scaling sometimes just wins out games in and of itself, Jinx definitely a fine pick. Kongman, do you have anything to counter the idea of the Jinx or to maybe accentuate anything you want to see that isn't Shyvana or Sejuani, that isn't Shyvana or Sejuani?
Man, so you're making me like dig to the bottom of the barrel here, because as you know, like Sejuani recently got buffed, so I was like, "Ooh, I have time to talk about this." But you eliminate that. Shyvana hasn't been buffed or nerfed, so clearly she's the most balanced champion in the game.
True.
But true. But all in
Unassailable
all,
logic.
I have to say the best buff out of all this has to go to Xerath, because they increased the
Mm.
stun duration on his orb. And also, now that I'm thinking about it, the Astral team might win because they actually have a Xerath one trick.
Ooh,
That's
that
getting
is
banned. That's gone.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
was gonna say
to be fair, while we're sitting here in the lobby, I did see Dorado say, "Yeah, sure, you can have your Xerath."
Oh, we are leaking strats all over the place. We are, giving you guys maybe some false expectations. I don't think a Zareth one trick's getting their Zareth, but if anybody's going to do it in week one, I mean, Dorado has been pretty unassailable in terms of their victory march through VRS over the course of the last split, so maybe they're just going to test their limits, go full Goku style, and just see what would happen if they did let through. I'd be very entertained. I was casting some Zareth last night, or no, rather the night before, over in OCL, and me and my co-caster were sort of bantering about the fact that like Zareth's one of those champions, like their Zareth is a scripter, but your Zareth is an inter, and we did not expect it to perform very well at all, but it actually showed up fairly big on the OCL stage, so we'll see if it does get through, if it can repeat that on the VRS here tonight in just a few minutes, as we are waiting for that Champ Select to begin. It shouldn't be too much longer now, but guys, outside of the two teams we have playing here tonight, which could be a bit of a one-sided matchup, returning and newcomer teams, anybody else we should keep an eye on in the VRS, even if it's just because their logo looks really cool, where should the eyeballs flitter when this kind of a matchup isn't happening? What are going to be our big competitors here coming into Summer Split?
Kongman, if you want to
Kongman,
take
you
that
can
first.
start.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were wanting me to start here. Usually as the
You
color
were the
caster.
one who was talking about the cool logos. You were like, these guys' logos, this guy's name. These
Hey,
guys have the long name.
I was trying to give you guys some motivation. I mean, as we look over, so in Group C we have, as you know, Dorado Gaming Zeta, the ones we are going to be watching tonight, the defending champions. Meanwhile, over in Group A, we are going to be seeing Oasis Esports Cloud returning, the runner-up to the championship series, who actually won their game last night 2-1 against the other Dorado Gaming Gamma team. So already
Very
off to a
nice.
great start for them. But one team that I'm kind of looking forward to, mainly because they have the longest name I think in team history,
God.
is in Group B. And I said that anytime we cast these guys, I will say their full name every time. Is Seuss's Emotionally Unavailable Squad.
That
Like,
is a bit of a tongue twister. Seuss is unemotionally, unemotional.
yeah, you can't even say
It's
it.
Seuss for short, which is what they probably want.
Would
Actually,
prefer
they
to be
probably
called.
want their full name. They
Nah,
probably
make it the
want
full
to
name.
see us suffer and try that one. But for what I'm looking forward to is not that, because I have to say their name arguably more and in a faster scenario, so not that one. I'm also excited very much so for Oasis Esports Cloud. I think Sergeant Hades is an absolute monster. That guy's crazy. I love watching that team so much. I think they were really good in that finals matchup. Looking at some of the other teams though, is some familiar faces. Mint Gaming Gelato has some familiar faces on there. It's a familiar org as well. So hoping that they can, kind of pop off and make a statement in playoffs at least as well. And always love to see the Team Ambition teams as well returning. They have Team Ambition Sakura, which I'm pretty sure we touched on that a little bit, is the team that broke Kongman's losing streak. So always glad to see them now, I'd imagine.
Oh,
They're
Team
the good
Ambition
luck charm.
Sakura. Yeah, Team Ambition Sakura will always have a nice little special place in my heart.
Exactly.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, we have plenty of great orgs fielding multiple teams. I do believe this is the first split we've had a third Dorado Gaming team. We did mention already Dorado Gaming Gamma over in Group A, the sister team of Zeta, who is playing tonight. But we also have Dorado Gaming Iota, another Dorado Gaming squad. We're seeing some of our best orgs field multiple teams. You already mentioned double team ambition teams. So it's definitely a great time to be a fan of the VRS, and we have so many new coming squads that you will learn about in coming weeks as we get around to their matches as well. Should be an absolute banger of a split. Gentlemen, do you have any big overarching predictions you want to put down in terms of what we're going to see ahead of the split starting? It doesn't have to be champion. It doesn't have to be, the best team, but just some things that you're pretty sure we're going to see. I can start with an example. I think we're going to see Sergeant Hades, Zoe over there on Oasis Esports Cloud get banned out a whole lot. What about you guys?
Oh, I think that's not even a question. I think that should be banned away. I think for this game as well, I think we'll see that Zerath get banned away unless it's more like an ego thing. Maybe it'll get through, but also overarching, I think I don't know if Dario Lipa's in anymore. I think he was on Team Disco, so I don't think he is unless he's like subbing for another team. I wish he was, cuz that guy's Kaisa is pretty nuts, and I loved watching his Kaisa. So maybe if he ever subs in for a team, that would be really cool to watch him pop off on that. Other than that, I can't really think of any like one tricks or anything that's like super popular. And I think we're actually getting into champ select here in a second.
Oh, if it's time for Champ Select, I will
Believe
fade into
here.
the void and let my casters handle it as they are so apt to do. Gentlemen, I'm sure you're chomping at the bit, as it has been a long, long time. You guys go and take it away and kill it. I will see you on the other side of game number 1. I'll return. Adios.
Thank you so much, Dodge, as we are getting into the draft here, and it is underway. So far, we have Darius banned away by Dorado Gaming Zeta, and the Akali banned away by the Astral Marauders. What are you looking to be picked and banned as this continues, Kongman?
Alright, well, it seems that DOGZ is just kind of doing their nice little blanket bans. Just kind of a nice little top lane hate and a little bit of a jungle hate. I mean, I do want to point out the Xerath is still open, so maybe DOGZ will try and snipe the Xerath away, or maybe they're actually going to be honest and just let the Astral guys pick up the Xerath here.
Do love those Astral guys over there, as we will see what they end up picking. R1 there early is a little dangerous. They are going to go ahead and pick Gragas to kind of counter that Jarvan. Jarvan's ult cannot be countered by Gragas, but his EQ, I believe, is interrupted by Gragas' dash. I think Gragas' body slam does take priority over most dashes. I can't really think of one that it isn't, as the Braum gets locked in immediately after that.
Yeah, so definitely already looking like a very tanky composition starting off from the Astral Marauders, not the Astral guys, my apologies. It's the first game of the season, you know. Of course,
yeah,
we're
you just gotta.
we're gonna be butchering the new teams.
Absolutely, I'm sure we will again at some point. Hopefully, we don't butcher Dorado, because that would be a little embarrassing. They just won. You know what? I totally forgot what I was saying too. As the Rakan does get locked in, and Ari soon to follow. So I do like what they're doing so far, and I'm pretty sure what the Braum was picked R2 for was just to kind of dissuade the idea of picking Misfortune with the Jarvan. And so far that does seem to be working. They haven't picked their ADC yet. Of course, Xerath's going to get locked in next. And all of a sudden, the Astral Marauders have the ability to go ahead and get rid of some of those troublesome ADCs that work well with Rakan. They pick the Xerath into the Ahri, knowing full well that Xerath can cope just fine. Or maybe the Ahri was seen as like a way to dissuade the Xerath, but you know, Astral Marauder's mid laner, he just says, I'm pretty comfortable playing it into the Ahri anyway. He goes ahead, does it, and of course the ADC that we get banned first from the Astral Marauders is that Xayah, seeing as there is a Rakan, can't let that synergy get through.
You definitely can't let the love couple out onto the Rift, and we are actually going to be seeing the Zinzao ban, which is going to be pretty interesting, because I know Gragas can go top or jungle, but honestly I've been seeing a lot more top than jungle recently, and it looks like that DOGZ is just going to be banning out a bunch of jungle champions here.
Getting rid of those, as Aphelios is going to be the champion hovered by the Astral Marauders, as I do like that as well. It is still susceptible to the Rakan, the Ahri, the Jarvan. Not going to be a fun time for the Aphelios to deal with so many of these things, especially if he doesn't have Flash. If he doesn't have Flash, he has no way of getting away from the Jarvan, because I don't think Gale Force goes over Jarvan walls. I don't think it goes over walls in general.
It does not.
Yeah, so all of a sudden he is in some pretty big trouble if Jarvan is anywhere nearby. It's not even that he has to be afraid of the EQ, he has to be afraid of that ult, because that will be absolutely killer for that Aphelios. As the Garen is locked in shortly after, it's Garen into the Gragas most likely. Could have been blind, but now they're answering the Aphelios Braum with that Caitlyn down in the bot lane for some early game power.
Honestly, with the Jarvan being picked, I would have mostly preferred to possibly see Alawi. I know Alawi has kind of fallen off the meta recently, but we do know that DOGZ said they were going to be rolling out with something kind of spicy, because as we know, the Alawi Jarvan combo is just really fun, and it's also deemed the nickname the Thunderdome, which is honestly just a really fun combo to watch just in general.
Yep, and the answer, oh wait, that could actually be, that might be Wukong Jungle. I'm not sure if that's Wukong Jungle. or if it's going to be. I mean, usually Gragas hasn't really found his way into the jungle recently, so I imagine that's going to be a Gragas top Wukong jungle still. However, that could be flexed either way. Excited to see which one it ends up actually being. I don't think Wukong into Garen is very good. I think early it's pretty decent until like around 6. I think Wukong still wins it, but it's once Garen starts building those items. Like for instance, if he gets a Stride Breaker in this matchup, I think Wukong just starts immediately losing because he's just too tanky. But we'll see which one it ends up being. I'm still pretty sold on it being Wukong jungle. I don't think Wukong top makes too much sense here. More so, I don't think Gragas jungle makes too much sense here.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen Gragas jungle be relevant since, what, season 9, I want to say? Maybe season 10?
Yeah, it's been a minute. I mean, of course, it used to be very popular, right? Like when it was popular, it was unbelievably strong. It was crazy. But recently, yeah, it's more useful in top for sure because it's probably the safest top laner I can think of. I can't really think of anything else that's like crazy safe unless you're like thinking of like maybe Ornn, who I don't know if he's still broken. Of course, if you've been watching any professional competitive play, you've been noticing stuff like the Malphite Ornn super broken, but of course that was, a few patches ago, so things might have changed since then. But I do think those tanks in the top lane are still pretty darn strong myself.
Yeah, I still feel like right now, kind of like last split, we're still living in that meta where currently top side is kind of the game deciding factor. Like I said a lot last season, if you feed your top laner, that top laner will just win the game for the rest of your compositions. Seeing the Garen and the Gragas, I do believe that those are going to be the main deciding options as to which one is going to be your deciding factor.
Personally, I do think Astral Marauders does want to play towards the spot side because they want to play for the Aphelios. I think Aphelios is your main win condition in this game. I think Xerath can be a win condition. I think that's fine. I think Gragas is literally there just to soak up pressure. I don't think he's going to be a major factor when it comes to damage. I do think that Garen could be a much bigger problem when you combine the fact that there is a Garen with some of these playmaking champions like the Jarvan, like the Ahri, like the Rakan, especially when we're talking about playmaking champions. The Rakan scares me probably the most in terms of like how much playmaking ability you actually have. But if I am playing as this Aphelios, I am also very much scared of the fact that Jarvan's ult exists because, as I was touching on earlier, if you don't have Flash, you can't really survive against that guy, or it becomes a lot harder especially if he has the rest of his team around him, because Ahri's going to be building Everfrost, so it's just going to be a big protect the Aphelios type of game.
Yeah, I feel like most games is the protect the Aphelios, and as we were waiting for teams to choose their loadout, we do see where the champions are going to be going. It is going to be Gragas top and a Wukong jungle. Like we said, those two are very flexible, so for all we know, it could change like last second, which I don't think they're going to do. So, kind of breaking this down, how do you feel about this Wukong v Jarvan matchup?
I'm not too well versed in those jungle matchups. Personally, I mean, I know Wukong as of late has become a much stronger option in the jungle. I'm not a huge fan of saving your last pick for jungle. It must mean to them, at least, that they see Wukong as either the final piece of their puzzle or someone who does, in fact, match up into the Jarvan very well. But I don't think it's anything crazy like a Kha'Zix in the jungle or a Lee Sin who's just absolutely going to bully the Jarvan around. I think Jarvan can actually hold his own against a Wukong invade. And to the point where I also think that this is, like most jungle matchups, going to matter more about how your individual lanes do. And looking at it, I'm actually kind of scared for Astral Marauders because Dorado has some pretty hard winning matchups. I think all 3 of their lanes went out if you want to go ahead and touch on how some of the individual lane matchups go.
Yeah, I definitely want to say, like, I know Ahri has lower cooldowns over Xerath, but of course, as we know, Astral Marauders does have their Xerath 1 trick up and online, so we might be seeing some spicy Xerath tech that not a lot of other people know about. But all in all, I feel like Ahri just wins this matchup because she has mobility, so she can just, kind of like sidestep those nice little stuns, dodges, ult it if she has to, flash it if she has to. So Xerath's going to have to do a lot of prediction plays. And then meanwhile, you look at the bot lane, and you just have Caitlyn who goes, "Okay, I'm longer range than you, Aphelios. I win the poke battle."
Yeah, Caitlyn's trades are going to be much better. I will say that having the Braum does make Rakan's engages a little bit harder. It's not like having a Leona on your team. Rakan can still get the W off and then immediately E back hopefully without that stun coming through. Because it does take a little bit more time for that stun to come online because Braum has to hit the auto and then Aphelios has to hit at least 2 more if Braum wants to go ahead and Q as well. It's definitely harder for Rakan to get locked down by that Braum. However, when it does come to those team fights, all of a sudden Rakan has a bit of a harder time getting in there because if Rakan ults and the second he ults and starts his W, Wukong just immediately hits that ult as well. Things get a little troublesome there because of the charm I believe the charm doesn't necessarily interrupt the ultimate from Wukong. I think Wukong might start moving towards him slowly, but I don't think it stops. So if Wukong can time that correctly, or if Gragas can time his body slam correctly, Rakan's going to have some trouble engaging later on. However, in the laning phase, I definitely think Caitlyn and Rakan have that pretty solid edge over their opponent. And as you were saying in the mid lane, I think Ari does, on paper have that, but very, very excited to see what the Xerath main can do on his champion.
Yep, it is going to be interesting to see what the Xerath main can do with his champion, but we are going to be throwing it to a quick break as the legends are going to be loading in here after a nice little spectator delay. So please don't go anywhere, and we will be right back in just a few moments.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to game number 1 of the series between Dorado Gaming Zeta and the Astral Marauders. On the blue side, we have Dorado Gaming Zeta, and on the red side, we have those Astral Marauders, seeing if they can take one over from the champs in Dorado Gaming Zeta. I am very excited to see if they can. I'm not sure if they'll be able to do it. What do you think, Hogman? I know our predictions say 2-0, but based on these drafts, are you having any second thoughts about it?
I still believe Dorado will win this.
Okay.
I know I predicted 2-0, but honestly, Astro might steal a game. I'm not going to give them like 100% confidence. I'm going to say I'll give Astro like 70% confidence they'll take a game. They haven't quite sold me yet.
That is more generous than I would give them. I give them like a 20% chance to win
Oh,
either of these games. I give them. I mean, after draft, I just like how Dorado drafted a lot more. I think if they play it, if they play the draft even like a little bit correctly, their draft should just straight up win. Especially as long as they play the early game. That's what I'm mostly looking at. Is if they can dominate the early game, it'll be fine. I really don't think they should have trouble with the rest of the game. However, if they do falter in the early game, uh, that's the chance that the Astral Marauders have to actually make a statement in this one, because it does kind of revolve around the Jarvan having those winning lanes and being able to do kind of whatever he wants because he has winning lanes. He can't really do it on his own, as the Wukong is not going to be fun to deal with if it's a one-on-one situation.
yeah, definitely one of the reasons why we kind of want to favor the Astral Marauders a little bit is because, as we know, Savant has his Xerath main, and he's also playing Xerath First Strike, and I want to point out that it is also the only First Strike in this lobby. And I know I said this a lot last season, but my good old friend, Mr. Cloud9 Rhyme, he's a big First Strike fan. Whenever he coached me for a little bit, he wanted to say First Strike on every champion. It is super good.
First Strike is pretty solid, as Kibbles and Joker are going to hit level 2 first and are going to start abusing that fact and get a great trade in onto that Aphelios and Braum in the bot lane. But as you were saying, First Strike, pretty good rune there. I don't usually end up taking it because I'm a support. We don't need money. We stay broke down there in the support role as much as we can. If anything, go Futures Market. Love Futures Market. Big on that one. Big Biscuits hater. If you want, I do subscribe to LS's teachings a good bit when it does come to those runes. So those are just my 2 cents on that.
I'm definitely saying I have to agree with it. But if you want to get real spicy, you could just easily take a First Strike and then secondary tier, take your Futures Market.
You know what? That's true. You can just take everything from. You know what? Just take Futures Market and take Biscuits. I don't think that's possible. Are they on the same tier? I forget. I'm pretty sure they're on the same tier. I'm pretty sure they are. You know what?
Let's take a quick look mid lane real quick. Don't mean to interrupt you, but Jarvan is currently floating this mid lane. Xerath doesn't know he's there.
But lucky for Xerath, or maybe not lucky, more of like a knowledge thing, is that he's playing the correct pocket, right? He's not playing around that bot side. He's playing around the side of the jungle that either A, he has a feeling, oh wait, here comes the Jarvan, does get that stun off really nice, but the flash is going to come in with the charm from the Ahri as all of a sudden Xerath is in a bad spot. Has flash as well, refuses to use it and goes down as a result. Rakan's going to go in just for a little bit, but such a great play from the Ahri and the Jarvan to get that kill onto the Xerath.
Yep, definitely very good play there from the Jarvan. I do want to point out that the Xerath does have the minion dematerializer, which from what I've been told is if you pick that, that means you're prepared to not ever win the lane.
That makes sense to me. I think he knew he was picking it into a losing matchup, but he just wanted to pick his one trick because, I mean, I'll always be for picking a one trick even if it's like a super bad matchup for you. Especially if you are red side too, you can free up a counter pick for someone else. And even though they didn't really do that here, I think that's a good theory to subscribe to and something to go ahead and do. But it also allows you to think less. Hold on just a second, as we do have a gank in the bot lane, as they're going to get a double knockup, as that's going to be so much damage onto Iron Mike, and he's going to go down. Caitlyn with all those crits, all those headshots, just so much damage. Could even kill the Aphelios too if he got a headshot and a Peacemaker combo. Just not going to happen for him, not going to be possible because of that heal that's available to Aphelios. But either way, a great play for Dorado Gaming Zeta.
Yeah, definitely a really good cleanup from Joker, but definitely Kimball's allowing them to set that up and Cafe able to just quickly do the follow-up. I know I probably said a lot of that out of order, if we're being honest, but you know, it's the first week back. Gotta get the good old casting jitters out of the way, and we are going to be seeing Khan going back to base, buying some items, and it looks like the Rift is just kind of settled down for a little bit.
I mean, no matter which way you cut it, right? As soon as you see that trap or the knockup go down, you set that trap up right after, that person's just gonna die unless someone tanks the net. But the odds of that happening are pretty low. I mean, Braum can. Braum actually should have had shield up, so I'm a little curious as to what happened there. I feel like Iron Mike shouldn't have ended up going down in that situation, but just all around a great play from the Caitlyn, recognizing that there was kill threat there, and Fireflan's having a pretty bad time in top lane for himself against this Gragas. Does have that passive though, so if he does need to regen without backing, he can do that pretty easily. He's actually doing it right now, going for a trade, but he does lose just about every single trade to this Gragas. Not just because of Gragas' sustain, but his early game damage is pretty annoying to deal with.
I definitely have to be pretty annoying, as we do see Joker trying his best to just kind of 1v2 down here, but it appears Cafe and Kibbles are going to get spotted up by the control ward, so no gank is going to be coming through here.
So I actually think that they almost messed it up really bad. If there was no ward there, and they didn't recognize that that was a dangerous place to be, the fact that Goon uses his shield there is, as someone who plays a lot of Braum and plays against a lot of Braum, plays support, it's really terrifying. That's your window if you're playing against Braum, right? Is to go in when Braum does not have his shield. And so you use it when you're in a 2v1 situation when you really don't need to. Yes, you could end up getting a little bit of damage down to the Caitlyn, but you didn't, and it kind of ends up being not worth it all. So if you weren't going to recognize the gank either, could have been a kill for sure, as now Shima's going to get hit up by all that damage, but it's not going to be a kill at all. They'll be just fine for now. As trades happen across the map, we might see a fight for vision or dragon control here between the Wukong and the Jarvan.
Definitely. Oh, there is going to be a bit of a skirmish down here in the bot river. Looks like
Yes.
Wukong is going to get away. No, maybe
No, he
not.
flashes over the wall, but the flag and drag is there to follow. Braum is coming in as well. The trap is just barely going to miss. Iron Mike dodging around that one, does get hit with that Peacemaker. Eating over the wall is that Caitlyn. W's to try to get some armor for himself. So Iron Mike is going to have his jungle ransacked at the moment. The vision control is going to be absolutely insane. They're going to try to do as much as possible. Just start poking it down Goon, as he's going to finally use that E to try to clear this control ward, which I am not necessarily against, but Jarvan is just absolutely wreaking havoc over this jungle. And that's what I was talking about, right? You have those winning lanes, so as we can see, he can do whatever the heck he wants. Firefly's going to go ahead and drop that Ghost, drop the Ignite's going to ult and finds the kill onto the Gragas, a solo bolo for that Garen in the top lane.
Yeah, definitely a really good job there from Fireflames, the man, the myth, the legend himself playing Garen. But before I can even say anything, Xerath gets Tower Dove, and unfortunately, well, that's kind of it for the one-trick Xerath.
Yeah, as now they're going to try to find a play onto the Caitlyn, but she's just spacing herself out too much. She's never going to die here, never going to go down, unless they forced a flash, trying to force a flash out onto the Caitlyn maybe. If you're Braum, that's kind of your only angle to get a kill there, is to flash on top of her, find the autos, and start finding the stun, and just, you know, kind of bait her flash out, or W in, maybe find the ult. There it is, as there's the flash finally, and it's not going to do anything, but now the Rakan is here, and you Bad situation, my friend. You are almost dead. There it is. Caitlyn's going to be able to find that kill easy peasy, as it was just a little, too late, as Rakan was able to find himself back in a great situation to get this kill. But Xerath is roaming down as well, trying to find a nice Q. Does have the ultimate available, is trying to find the damage, will find the kill onto the Caitlyn, as now Rakan will start running away, was in danger of dying, but will not go down, as finally the Astral Marauders are on the board.
The Astral Marauders finally on the board with that Xerath ult. The power of the Xerath one trick. I don't know what it is with Xerath mains, but they seem to never miss their Rs. Like, they can miss every other ability, but once they pop that R, it's just hit, 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 hit.
For those who missed it, I said scripts, which was a joke for all intents and purposes there. I'm sure that he is doing everything legit, considering if people are scripting, it's pretty obvious. And of course, that's always going to be the big thing for Xerath mains, right? As they are the ones who are pretty notoriously accused of such things. As that's going to be a Riptail being taken away by Iron Mike. He's going to be able to spite that one away. He's going to ult on top of this Ahri, but Ahri is 3 levels higher than him and has a Garen walking on down. He's going to use the knockouts to try to get himself to safety, but Xerath is here as well. The ult from Toby Larone, there we go, got it, will help them find that kill onto the Garen. The Garen's ult was just a little bit too early. As a result, he goes down, and they get so much value out of that kill, right? They get the Rift Herald on top of that. They're going to go ahead and drop that top lane, get some plates, and start, equalizing that gold lead that the Garen has accrued for himself. Maybe take the tower. Don't think they'll quite be able to do that much damage because of how low damage. Yeah, they don't do enough damage for sure. Even though Garen does not have the TP, they shouldn't be able to take this tower, but they will get all the plates, so that's good.
I mean, they probably could have taken the tower knowing that Garen doesn't have TP, because they had the thing
Yeah.
in play. He had already cleared the other one. I mean, they could have at least put it to, like, no health, and then Wukong could have just easily, like, walked over and just smacked it once at any other point of the game. But all in all, I think dropping it to 1 plate is still pretty good.
Yeah, I think what ends up happening there is as soon as you see the fact that they're on or that they completed Dragon, that's when you can get the go-ahead in your head to go, okay, cool, we can take this tower, we should be fine. Garen, as we were mentioning, doesn't have TP, as Braum is in a very bad spot, will get flagged and dragged up, as now the tower will drop. He's just getting knocked up to hell in high water. He will not be allowed to move for 59 years. He will go down. Poor Braum. This bot lane as a whole getting absolutely bullied by DOGZ. They know exactly what lane the Astral Marauders want to try to play around, but they're not letting it happen at all. The good news is, though, for Aphelios is that he cannot be dove because there's no ult from this Rakan for that to happen, so he is just fine to stay under this tower.
Yep, definitely a good job from the Aphelios not overextending. Definitely, as you said earlier, once you see the Braum shield go down, they just kind of engage on that. Fortunately, that time, Braum never really had a chance to react with his shield. But I do want to point out that Goon, I might be mispronouncing that with the 2 tildes over the O's, really likes to just use his shield whenever.
Yes, he is very liberal with that shield usage. I think he just, again, as someone who has some experience with that specifically, it's you want to try to save it for when you absolutely need it. I feel like he uses it too early, so when the damage is actually coming through, yes, you're getting rid of a lot of these autos from the Caitlyn, but if you can save it for when she, drops that root, drops that E, you're not stunned, and at worst you're getting knocked up, but usually all that damage is going to come after the knockup, so you can get that E off. It just feels like he's using it a little bit too early, so that when all the real damage comes in, it messes with him a good bit, so that's probably a big part of what's going wrong for the Braum. I feel like he should be able to, survive a lot more of these situations, but that's just not how it's going. We'll see if he can kind of, fix that timing. Maybe it's some jitters. It is the first game of this split. Of course, you're also on stream. You might not be used to that, as they are looking for a gank onto the Xerath, but that Crown of the Shattered Queen is going to keep him alive for so long, but he's CC'd for so much longer. He is going to finally go down. Had no flash available, so there was no world where he was ever going to die. Or ever going to live, rather. Definitely was going to die just about every single time. So we will see if he is going to be able to keep playing the game, or if he's just going to keep getting bullied by this Jarvan-Ahri combo.
That is going to be interesting to see. And oh, that ult actually hits Caitlyn.
it felt like they didn't think it would, so they just kind of stopped going in, or they saw this. This would have also been a reason to not go in anymore, as now Ari is here to try to find the play as well, but Aphelios is surviving for so long, but that's going to be a stopwatch, and that's going to be absolutely killer. Kibbles is going to tank the tower for just a little bit too long, and Aphelios gets himself a kill. Kibbles was absolutely disrespecting them there, and pays for it with his life, which was just a tad on the troll side there for Kibbles.
Yeah, not 100% sure if that was Kibble's BMing, because it did look like a bit of a stutter step, as if he was lagging a little bit. But honestly, it might have just been a little bit of BM.
There is the chance that it wasn't BM and it was a little bit of lag. It looked more like BM than anything. It looked like he was trying to hold the tower and then kind of added another tower shot in there just for funsies. Because he could, and then went, oh wait, that's a lot of damage. But you know, you don't also know how much damage it's gonna be until you take the damage from the last one. So as soon as he saw the damage coming in, he was probably like, oh, this is not great for me. As speaking of not great for me, is Iron Mike finding Kibbles in a bad situation, as that's going to be a kill. He flashes in with the second charge of his ult as well. Xerath is going to start ulting. Iron Mike will go down to the tower as well. Toby Larone will start running away, uses his ult to get himself out of there. Now Garen starts running around the edge there, trying to find the damage, trying to find the angle. Just not going to be there, as Toby Larone will continue healing up. Fireflans wants to find an angle, can absolutely dive him. If he can somehow bait out that body slam, I'm sure it's more than doable, because there's no ult. Or, you know, you just bring your Jarvan in. But the rest of the Marauders are coming up as well. Jarvan could be in a bad spot, does get stunned up, is going to be taking a lot of damage, will have that ult used on him. Garen is coming around the bend. They will knock up the Braum. Braum's taking a lot of damage. Braum will go down. His team was just not in a position to help him, so he ends up paying for that one. As now Garen will be able to just kind of walk on out, as there seemed to be some miscommunication from the Astral Marauders there.
Yeah, taking a quick look at gold breakdown, we are going to be seeing this is quite a big gold difference. We are seeing that Dorado is currently up about 3k gold, which, as we've learned from the previous split, 3 gold kind of sways the game into your favor by quite a bit.
Absolutely, I'd imagine Dorado's in a pretty good spot to go ahead and win this one. Dragon is up for their taking as well. Jarvan just has to kind of mosey on down. We actually have Kibbles on a reset, so probably just getting some wards real quick. Also get a control ward or two, and we'll start running back towards this dragon. We will see what this Ahri can do. It does not look like a whole lot. Maybe
He already knows that Braum's shield is down.
I mean, that's true. It is now, but I still don't think there's enough of a window here to actually make something happen. I think there's too much. CC probably doesn't. They should have the knowledge that there's no ult on the Braum, but I don't know if they know the timers that well, as all of a sudden Iron Mike trying to fight the Garen, but Garen's going to go ahead and drop that Stride Breaker, going to try to find that damage, or try to just get away. The Xerath ultimate's going to come in and help them find that kill. Ace in the hole is not going to be able to find the damage to kill, does find a little bit, just not enough quite yet. As we will see if the rest of these Astral Marauders can hold on, if Dorado is still going to try to bully their way into this jungle, is going to hit. What are you doing? There was nothing to E there.
I mean, Dorado
That's the
is
main
doing
one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Dorado is doing a good job just kind of bullying into the jungle here, and they are currently up 2 dragons. I mean, sure, there's still a chance that Astro could come back and take some of these dragons and try and balance it out, but honestly, once you're down 2 dragons, you kind of just have to go, yeah, we don't control this jungle.
See, we'll go ahead and step on some traps and go ahead and just get rid of those for now. Meanwhile, we do have the Gragas and the Wukong going ahead and taking away the Rift Herald. The flash is going to come through from the Xerath. He does not want to risk anything, does not want to risk dying. Did get hit by that charm on that off angle, so does respect the fact that they were there. So I believe the Rift Herald was taken away just now, as now Rakan wants to go in, use that ultimate to try to find some kills, but the Braum ultimate is going to be absolutely huge. They are playing really well, they're kiting really well, peeling for the Aphelios, but it's just not going to be enough. But they do burn some really important summoner spells. Getting rid of those will be important, or at least for the Jarvan. It does make it a little bit easier for the rest of this squad to play safe, as maybe that'll buy them enough time to continue scaling up on this Aphelios.
Yeah, Garen doing a really good job answering that Rift Herald in the mid lane, but unfortunately Gragas is going to be taking the top lane. There it is.
Yep. Easy peasy for him to do. Garen is sprinting at this Gragas. The worst part is, Gragas isn't even scared. He doesn't have to be. He has Everfrost, he has his ult, he has E, he has Flash even. So, I mean, at best, you're probably going to be able to get, or you might be able to get the Gragas Flash, but I doubt you can even get that. You might even be in a position to be punished if Wukong's anywhere near you, so ends up just taking it safe. You know, kind of bites his tongue, allows that tower to be killed, and tries to get some damage down onto the enemy's tower as a result.
But we do see Iron Mike has found Fireflands. Gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. Fireflands just ghosting away, just saying, nope, 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 I don't exist. But there's the Xerath ult just being flung over. Cathay seems to have found
no. Oh, they're going to walk towards him as there's going to be the knockup. There is an ultimate available. The Cataclysm will finally drop, and no flash available on Xerath means he is going to die. As soon as you use that ult, he started walking down. They did have that. I actually don't know how they didn't see him, because they had the control ward. As soon as you see those two, because they were definitely on that vision. I don't think there's a universe where they weren't on that vision. You can't walk at them anymore. You don't have flash, so as soon as you recognize, oh, I don't have flash, it is Jarvan and Rakan. I can't walk there. It's just not okay for me to do.
Yeah, the Jarvan, I mean, maybe, but once you see the Rakan, yeah, no, you just kind of forfeit that and go, yeah, I'll go the other direction.
Exactly. I mean, if you have flash, like, maybe you can walk there, but essentially you're saying I'm willing to burn my flash to walk in this direction, which is questionable. Like, maybe you can buy time for the rest of your team to get there and maybe bait something out, but I mean, that clearly isn't the case in this situation, right? So can't really defend it further there. And it's also, you know, not the situation. Didn't have flash, so just not a place you can be. But also really good of the Jarvan and the Rakan to see, hey, this is where Xerath is, you know, ulting from. He's probably, oh, wait a second, as now Gragas is getting engaged upon. It does take a lot of damage. There are 4 people essentially in his lane, but the Wukong is here as well, doing a lot of damage. Will ult find the kill onto the Rakan, who flashes away, but still dies. Trying to find the damage onto Iron Mike. Iron Mike should go down, as now they're just going to walk at the Xerath, who ults in a dangerous spot. Will get the stun off, as now Fireflands is going down, trying to just get him killed, but Fireflands goes a little bit too deep, perhaps, as now Joker is in a bad spot, but the ult from the Braum will find Cafe, but now Ahri is here to start zoning them back. They're playing it slow, finds the charm onto the Aphelios. Aphelios in a bad spot, has to flash away, but will still go down. The Q from the Ahri has one more ult charge, will find the kill as well, as Ahri turns that fight all the way around, as all of a sudden, Dogs are in such a dominant position. They were in a dominant position before, but that one blew the game wide open, and it's looking real bad for the Astral Marauders now.
Yep, and I do believe we might possibly have a instant replay for that amazing ace for the side of Ahri. I do believe it is going to be phasing over here. Just, yes, here it is. They are really good then, as we notice, we do see Ahri coming up all the way from this range during this interaction, as they would be Guardian and jump just to help stall this out. And Xerath realizes, uh-oh, I'm in a bad position. But wait, here comes his team. Really thinking about this, but Ahri, breaking up the rear, is like, wait a minute, this is free real estate for me. Once he sees that the Braum shield is in, he realizes he has to then use W cards a few times, all the W stacks hit, and Ahri just says, no, this team is one.
Yeah, I think that's just really good recognition from the Ahri. Not only in the instance of Braum shield being down, but you know everyone just popped everything. You know Wukong ult is down. You know there's no way that even if Xerath somehow gets out of this, he can ult and try to kill you. Pretty sure Aphelios had just used his ult. He didn't have... I can't remember if he had flashed in the middle of it when Ahri came, or if he had flashed a little bit earlier. But either way, it was
flashed a little early.
So all of a sudden, like, as soon as you know all those like abilities are down, Ahri can just go, all right, everybody here is absolutely dead. You're absolutely gone. Also, something that I haven't gotten to touch on because I completely forgot that I hate is heal as a summoner spell. I think is very underpowered right now. I think heal needs to never be taken ever. If you have an inkling of a doubt that the other team is going to take ignite. But that is a little off topic, as we do have this Baron getting taken by the Dorado Gaming Zeta, as that is so much damage. Iron Mike has just been absolutely popped. Next up will be the Aphelios. He is going absolutely nowhere. Did live for a little while, but finally goes down. Braum going to be next on the chopping block. Looks like everybody on Astral Marauders is going absolutely down. A triple kill for the Garen in the top lane, as they will go right on back to this Baron and be able to take it uncontested.
Yep, definitely a very good job there. Rakan does spot out the Gragas, so he's going to have to walk away a little bit. But I definitely want to say I am going to critique here a little bit as a jungler. In that position, Iron Mike, you do not enter from that position, especially as a jungler. I mean, sure, you are Wukong, so you do have the chance to just kind of slippery escape out of there. But unfortunately, if you do not control the river, you have to respect that the opposing team is there, and you cannot walk in by yourself, especially with zero vision.
I think if you have, the vision set up, you are allowed to play from a flank angle. If you do have, you make sure that there's no vision where you are. There was no vision when you walked in. So, and I do believe we have a replay ready. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and let you take the reins from the opponent.
So there it is, the already walked in, completely face checking forward. Helios has been out of it, and then of course the Braum gets absolutely collapsed on. Zero tries to flash away, but the Garen ultimate just says, nah, you don't run away from me. I am the man, the myth, the legend, the Garen himself.
Yeah, Garen is a pretty big problem this game, and it's not because of the Gragas. I think Gragas did actually pretty well, all things considered, minus the one solo kill that he gave up. Of course, if we looked at the rest of this game, we saw a pretty big problem with the Druid being allowed to do whatever he wanted. The 3 winning lanes that the Dorado Gaming Zeta had made it really hard for this Wukong to actually play the game actively. So that is something that the Astral Marauders will try to work on in game number 2, but for game number 1 here, it's looking all but over. Maybe there's something that they can do. They still scale up a little bit, still have the ability to do that, but the issue with that is they have to survive until then. It's just so difficult to do, as Aphelios has gotten caught out. He will be absolutely demolished. Braum is going to be next up as well, and all of a sudden, these inhibitors are going to start exploding as well. Garen going in onto the Gragas, now the rest of them going in as well. The Ahri is in a pretty good spot here to kill Iron Mike. Iron Mike will fall. The ulting Xerath will get knocked up, is going to get absolutely bullied by this squad, as that's going to be a massive headshot doing about 1k damage to that Xerath. The next inhibitor will go down. Gragas was bullied out of his own base, as Dorado Gaming Zeta moving in for the kill. Onto Nexus Tower number 1. Will go on to the next Nexus Tower as well. Should be able to end game number 1 and go up 1-0 against the series against Astral Marauders.
It does appear Dorado is looking to maybe fish out another kill, which they do get right before the game ends for Fireflies. Really good job there dropping the Might of Demacia to help finish out that game.
Love to see that, and it looks like that Ignite Ghost from the top lane. No teleport needed for that Garen at all. As go ahead, and I don't think we can look at the damage, or
No.
because damage is still broken. Classic
Yes,
Riot stuff.
Post-game screen is still broken. We don't care about stats. What do you think we are, casters?
You know
Yes.
whose damage is broken, Shogun, is Fireflans on that Garen, or, Shimuwu. Oh god, I hate myself for saying it. Shima on that Ahri. What a wash coming through here in game number 1. That was about what we expected it to be, but I don't think we expected it to be as one-sided as we expected it to be. Where do you go from here, moving into game number 2, if you are the side of Astral Marauders?
Use your Braum shield a little bit better.
No, okay. So my big thing is, yes, the Braum shields were pretty suspect. That's not why they lost the game. You can look at that game and go, yes, your micro play was not great. Your mechanics could be improved, but it's really hard to improve on those mechanics immediately from one game to another. It's possible. Yes, you can put yourself on something you're a little bit more comfortable on. But something that I think is a lot something that can be a little bit more readily addressed is that draft, right? You drafted 3 losing lanes. You knew you were going to lose mid. you let them draft a top laner into your Garen, and then on top of that, you let your ADC get counterpicked as well. So literally every single lane, as long as the other team's draft is specifically made to counter yours, you put yourself in a position to get countered every single step of the way. And that's exactly what happened. And we saw every single one of those 3 lanes win. And Jarvan, who should probably have a little bit of a tougher time into the Wukong, ends up having a field day. We saw it towards the end of laning phase when Jarvan was allowed to take the entire bot side of the jungle away from the Wukong. And all of a sudden, Wukong's like, I can't even play the game anymore. And a lot more of that could have ended up happening throughout this entire game if the Jarvan was like a little bit more aggressive with his jungling.
Yeah, we saw some pretty crazy dives come through from that J4 as well near the end of laning phase, especially around the top side. The Gragas that you pick to neutralize, to hopefully go even. You're not making the most advantageous use of your red side draft capital when you invest in that neutral, weak side top lane, but then don't secure yourself any winning lanes in the other lanes either. So it was a bit of an oopsie from Astral Marauders. And when you're at what, let's be real, is perceived as a pretty big skill gap between you and your opponents. You need to cheat out every advantage, every resource you can get. You need to build yourself a winning composition. You need at least one winning lane, and they just didn't have the priority in the early game to really secure any sort of meaningful lead, and they just kind of got rolled over. Hopefully, going into game number 2, whether it's through a side switch up or just a reassessment of priorities in draft, they can actually build themselves a bit of a composition that works out better in helping them. Maybe it's ambitious to say get a win, but look a little bit better and feel good about, some of the plays they pulled off coming out of this series. Have a lot of tape to review on, but that will be coming up on the other side of a short break. So go get your snacks, hit the bathroom. We'll return shortly for the second game of this series. We'll be right back.
Woo. All right. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. As you can see, we are right about to get into draft. As soon as these two teams are ready, come in, and I've been talking a little bit. What are you thinking for game two's draft here?
I mean, Dorado is probably going to be looking to draft kind of the same thing because it seems to be, you know what they say: don't fix what isn't broken,
Yeah.
and they clearly dominated that. For the Astro Marauders, definitely going to have to probably change things up, but definitely pick winning lanes or just pick the stronger of the character pools for your lanes if you have to blind pick. For being honest here.
hmm we do have the ability for the Astral Marauders to go ahead and have that counter pick available. So they do have red side, so it is doable for them. I think the dogs, however, gonna keep their bans exactly the same as you said. Not really scared of that Zerath after that one. You do have an answer to it in the Ari, unless of course Ari does get banned, and then your number one pick into it is gone. I think that's probably what Dorado Gaming Zeta is talking about right now, but they're gonna go ahead and get rid of that Udyr. See, Astral Marauders might go ahead. Yep, they're going to get rid of that Ari immediately. Dogs probably figured that was going to happen. Still going to prioritize that Jarvan. Don't blame them. I do think if I am Astral Marauders, I am a little bit more scared of Jarvan than the Ari. But we'll see if they're able to, find a winning lane for that Xerath, or if Dogs have another answer for that Xerath in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking a quick look at the mid champion pool here, and I know that Xerath is kind of one of those mid laners that people kind of don't really enjoy playing against, but I really feel like a really good matchup a bad matchup for Xerath, as I'm realizing how to say this. We actually are going to be seeing Rakan Lucian locked in almost at lightning speed. But anyway, I feel like the best character to play against a Xerath, a hot take, and I'm pretty sure Gurf is going to come flying into chat whenever I say this, is going to be Heimerdinger.
Okay. I would be scared to play Heimerdinger into Xerath because Xerath outranges, I think, all your turrets. I think that's the only reason I'd be like, I don't want to deal with that. But other than that, I can see where the idea is. To play Heimerdinger there. I do like it. As we will see the Misfortune get locked in right alongside that Jarvan. So of course the fact that they're okay, I like that more. I like
give me the
Blitz
Blitz.
a lot. I love Blitz. Not good into Rakan Lucian. I think Nautilus is really good into Rakan Lucian though. I think it's, some may say, oh, but they're both hook champions. Surely they do the same thing. No, not really. They do very similar things, but I think Nautilus has a lot more reliable peel. I think is his best trait that he has. His ultimate also is really good at dealing with super mobile ADCs, like the Callista, Zeri, Lucian. His ultimate will hit them no matter what, no matter how much they dash around. They will get hit by that ability, they will get knocked up, and they will be put in a vulnerable position. It's just all about how far away can they get, as we are going to see that Xerath get taken away. So far the Astral Marauders have taken their support, ADC, and jungler just like the dogs, so they likely will have to blind pick their top or mid lane, depends on which one they want to do, or maybe they already have their mid laner in Lucian. That is also an option they could go with.
Yep, it is going to be very interesting, as we are actually going to be seeing the Gragas getting floated for that last ban, so I guess the dogs just really hated playing into the Gragas. I mean, sure, Toblerone did really good playing the Gragas, but I don't feel like the Gragas provided much team value in the composition they had.
Yeah, not really. It didn't add too much, but those were the champions that they played last time around, and it was annoying. I think the Gragas proved to be problematic at the very least, so they want to go ahead and make the Astral Marauders play something a little different. It looks like they already want to play something pretty different. They're going to lock in Twisted Fate, which I am okay with because they have a lot of damage in Lucian and Xin Zhao, but that is an excellent answer. That is a champion that needs to be banned if you are picking. There are like 3 champions that I think if you're going to pick them, you have to ban Silas. And there's also more that this counts for, but these are like 2 of them more so I think are Exodia, but these 3 I think are Exodia champions for Silas to be able to steal. And that is Alistar, Twisted Fate, and Malphite. I think Silas does really well with those 3 ultimates. And if there were ever a time that someone for some reason picked all 3 of those champions on the same team, Silas would actually have it. So it would be a problem for Silas actually, because he'd have too many good ults to choose from. He wouldn't be able to steal all of them.
I do know a good ult for Silas to steal. Okay, this is gonna sound really weird, and I've had to face this as a problem myself.
Okay.
Silas is really good if he steals Ivern's ultimate, because Daisy scales off of AP.
Oh my god. Okay. No, I could see that one. Another one that I might have been thinking of is Zillion ult. I think that one's really good too.
True. Urgot.
Urgot's pretty solid. I think Urgot's pretty good.
I'm
There
just
are
kind
some
of
really
looking at all
bad
the
ones out
champions
there.
here. There are some bad ones.
Whoa.
Oh, we see the Gare.
Whoa.
Whoa, bro.
Whoa. I have no words. I don't know what to say to that. I genuinely do not know what to say to them picking Garen there, because I don't know how good it is in the Gangplank. I think that might be terrible. It also might be perfectly fine, and might be a really good matchup for. I think levels like. I actually think early game Garen gets to have a field day. I could be. Someone can correct me on that in chat. Pretty sure Garen does really well in the Gangplank. Actually, Dodge can definitely tell us how that goes early game. Pretty sure Garen messes Gangplank up though.
I do believe Dodge is in chat, and if he is, please inform me and tell us how you feel about the Garen versus Gangplank matchup. In the meantime, we are going to be looking elsewhere around the Rift. The Jarvan versus Zinzo. This is just your standard matchup you see at Worlds every year. Jarvan, Zinzo, you see them every day. Even in your ranked games, even in your casual games. And
No, not
honestly,
me. It's always
just-
Teemo Ivern, baby. That's the only
True.
junglers ever.
Can confirm I was the Ivern. But honestly, the Jarvan Zin really just comes down to positioning with your team. You can't really say one is better than the other. I mean, you can, but you'd just be wrong. Mid lane, Silas, Twisted Fate. Yeah, Silas just dunks on Twisted Fate. And then in the bot lane, you got Misfortune and Nautilus versus Lucian Rakan. I feel like DOGZ has the better engage, and Astra has the better disengage. As weird as that may sound.
Yes, but I think if you're going for a disengaged comp, you have picked the wrong champions. You picked like, it's like they do that, they fill that role, but you could have picked something else. It's like, yeah, you picked Rel, that was good, but you could have picked Leona. Like that would have been way better. Or it's like, yeah, I guess you could play Dota, but you also could have played League of Legends. So I mean, like, is it really like the same thing? No, because it's like it'll scratch that itch you got, but it's not gonna do it well.
Yeah. It's like you could have played League, but you foolishly installed Smite.
Exactly. Smite, great game if you have an Xbox, but if you have a PC, why bother?
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, and if you like everybody here probably likes the League, so that's gonna be like probably the best way to put it. That's just fact. And I have a friend out there who probably isn't watching because he's not a true friend, but he also loves Smite. So I'll just have to clip that just for him.
I would have to agree. I do have a few friends that are big Smite fans. Surprisingly, I don't think I've ever met a Dota fan since I started playing League.
They don't exist. They stay in their dark little corner playing Dota, and they drag you in to play auto chess once, and you're like, cool, we're gonna play TFT now, and they're like, everything good is stolen by League. This is insane. This is crazy.
True.
Real talk though, Smite, decent game, decently fun. Not better than League, decently
Well,
fun.
one of the only 2 games Hi-Rez is good at making. Hot take.
that and Paladins.
Yes, sir.
Paladins 10 times better than Overwatch. Very off topic.
Oh,
I don't know why. Where's our Victoris
100%
Paladins
confirm.
link, bro?
Yo, true. Sign me up. I'll cast that. I'll cast and play at the same time.
I don't think I'd cast it. I don't know too much about it. I'd play in it because I don't know it. it's just fun to mess
Quite
around with.
understandable. And well, as you know, us casters like to burn time, and unfortunately we burned a bit too much time, so we are going to have to throw it to a quick break as we wait for the spectator delay. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back in just a moment's time.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to game number 2 of the series between Dorado Gaming Zeta and the Astral Marauders. Once again, we have Dorado Gaming Zeta on the blue side and the Astral Marauders on the red side.
Yep, it is going to be kind of the same sides again.
Ah,
And
but...
matter of fact, there is just a pause, almost instantly. You gotta love it.
I do like looking at the runes. Oh, we're back here. That's fine. I'm ready. I was ready.
I like
Okay.
looking at you instead of the runes. Let's be real here, because you sit right over there. I mean,
that is true, and that is okay. We just kind of taken for surprise right there. Also, haven't really been looking at this because I've been looking at my own like draft law, my own like client and stuff like that. Astral Marauders have a pretty clean logo, if I do say so myself. I think it is pretty solid right there.
yeah, I do have to say, looking at all the teams, I do want to say Astral Marauders would win MVP for uh best logo.
Yeah, they've got a solid one. Dorado Gaming has grown on me over the past few splits, so like that one. Real quick, talking about those the summoner spell on Joker, the Misfortune has cleanse, which is actually something that is pretty important to have this game. Only because there is a completely unavoidable form of CC. You have basically made the Twisted Fate no longer a champion. If he ever tries to get on top of you, it's going to be a lot more annoying because you do have that cleanse available. However, Rakan is still going to be an issue. Even though his charm is going to be cleansable, he still has that knockup that you have to watch out for. So you still have to, think about where you're ulting, where you're walking. It's still a little scary to be facing this Rakan down in the bot lane. However, seeing as how Joker has been playing laning phase and just the game in general so far from game number 1, I do find it hard to believe that he'd be caught out in a silly situation. But crazier things have happened for sure. So excited to see what they can do down there. Being on news for the pause. I think you're in game, so you can like kind of give any updates.
Do not. I'm reading the chat. We mainly have Kibble saying, "So, what's your guys' favorite Pokemon?"
All right. Well, that's a little off
so
topic.
looking over to Twitch chat, we do have Dodge asking if there are any funny logos this split, saying the team Hara.
Yeah, they always have their icon that we can't really show on stream for now because it's actually I think you can because you can show gameplay, so surely you can show that, which is it's like Toon Link. I think I was
Toon Link
this
just
close to
chilling there.
calling it Toon Zelda. Like,
I swear
genuinely,
to God.
it would have been awesome. It would have been fantastic. As we do have.
So,
What's up?
I've received word it is actually Shimuwu who had DC'd. They're asking if
course.
Silas is back. Oh, and it appears Silas has returned. The game is going.
Oh,
We are live
great,
once again.
absolutely. So we'll
Joker
get
trying to say,
over-
"Don't worry about the mid laner. He's not good."
Hopefully we'll have the footage for back in game shortly here, as there we go. So they are all running to lane. I think it's this natural,
Yep,
the
it is
fun
the
little
natural-
freeze that Riot does whenever we're back in game. Love the
There it
clients.
goes.
There they go. As it's even going to be something interesting too. I think it's an invade, or at least they were stacking the bush for Nautilus is what it actually was, as they are going to find the hook onto Garen as the rest of the team is running up. They think they found something, but guess who's here? It's a 3-man knockup. It's all of a sudden that's going to be one going down. Astral Marauders playing this beautifully, flashing forward, trying to find the damage, maybe finding a Q through Joker. Doubt that's going to happen. Ends up using Flash for nothing there. Both flashes down for the bot lane, but Astral Marauders popping off in the beginning, able to absolutely take Kibbles down. I actually thought, based on how that was going, that it was DOGZ on the red side. Completely forgot who was where, but Astral Marauders just goes to show you how well they ended up playing that level 1.
Yeah, Astral Marauder is definitely doing a really good job. As you said, playing that level 1, Cafe is going to be starting his jungle with not quite full HP, so it is going to be a bit awkward to start. It is going to be interesting to see. So we are going to be seeing Zinzel pathing towards the top side, hoping to try and get Garen up and online. It's going to be interesting to try and watch this Jarvan race to the bot side.
For sure is. Now Silas is going in for an early trade and gets TF almost to half HP. Almost immediately there, has that minion dematerializer, has a first strike. I like both options. Considering TF's passive, I think it's pretty smart to go ahead and get first strike as well, get as much money as possible. As you can also go electrocute. I think that one's fine as well. I think first strike is going to be 100 times better though, just because you're pretty okay with losing this lane and just farming as much as you can. Want to get as much of that money as possible. So now we might see Kibbles go for something, has too many minions in his way. We'll go ahead and start rushing for that level 2. As Rakan will do something very similar. As now Garen trying to find that level 2. Kibbles has found his. Does have that hook available. Will get that knockup, gets that Q down onto Kibbles as well. But now we see Lucian trying to find the damage, getting those autos in. The E to follow as well. Gets a lot of damage down onto Nautilus. Could have even fished for the kill there, but they weren't feeling confident enough.
Yep, unfortunately unable to find that kill as you stated. Excuse me. Right now the lanes have just kind of stalled out a little bit, as we do see the TF did have to flash away to make sure he stayed alive. Really good pressure there from Silas and Jarvan.
Jarvan almost finding that play. Does ooh, that's gonna be a lot of damage coming out from this Silas. And Silas is gonna easily find a solo kill. Not hard at all. And something that I gotta mention, as Twisted Fate does have the Ignite, does not have a teleport to get back into lane super fast. That will be his undoing the situation. Silas even taking that TP, not taking Ignite himself, didn't need it at all. Just absolutely abusing the fact that it is Twisted Fate who does just about no damage and is so squishy in the mid lane in the first few minutes of this game.
Yep, and once again we are going to be seeing Twisted Fate with the first strike, the only first strike rune in this lobby.
Lucian
What
in
do
a
you
bad
mean,
spot.
no?
He has to E over the wall. He's got to get out of here. As now Rakan's gonna W out as well. Will be able to escape. That's what I was talking about with the oh no. So they were in a very bad position. They had, I believe, gotten seen by the or they were at least seen by their bot lane opponents walking up. So as soon as they do that, Jarvan can start walking down, and it is kind of a question mark as to why they're even there to begin with. Yes, they can just hop over the wall if they need to. So it's not too bad, but Xin Zhao isn't even on their side of the map. Xin Zhao was top side, so they have no reason to be there either. It's not like you're going to be able to like contest the Scuttle Crab or, you know, kill the jungler there because your mid laner also just died. So we're just a weird spot to be all around, but they don't end up paying for it, so it doesn't matter too much in this scenario specifically.
Yep, definitely don't have to worry about paying that. I do want to point out, if we take a quick look at the map, that Astra's done a really good job putting this deep ward into the blue side jungle, so now they're going to know where this Jarvan is based off of his wolves.
Yep, that's going to be very useful information for them. We will see that Twisted Fate go ahead and get some damage down. Or at least try to. Garen's going to be taking a little bit of damage as well from the Garen. I believe they had just barely seen Cafe, or maybe we turned off the vision right before he was about to get into vision range there. So we will see Twisted Fate on 0 mana. Is not allowed to walk up. Has to have Xin Zhao walk up if he does. Xin Zhao, speaking of which, is starting the dragon. His bot lane is leaving, however. Not even walking up to help him with the dragon before this. As he might be able to go ahead and get this. It's a little scary though, as he will get pretty low. Nautilus is walking over, but now the Twisted Fate is going to just get absolutely dumpstered. Will fall, as the dragon will actually still go to Iron Mike, so he'll be able to take that one down. He'll start walking out. The Nautilus does have an idea of where that Xin Zhao might be, is walking through the river. Will not quite be able to find a hook onto him, so Iron Mike gets away with highway robbery there. Love to see that. As now we see the Twisted Fate running back onto the map, as he is not having a good time.
Yeah, Twisted Fate definitely not having a good time, especially playing into this Silas. Currently level down, Silas has his ult, so I'm pretty sure Silas is just probably going to camp out, just kind of hang around and then go, alright, cool, I have TF ult, and now I just go wherever I want to.
Yep, which is unfortunate because if you're Twisted Fate, that's kind of what you're thinking you want to do. As what a great prediction from Kibbles! Oh my goodness, the Gangplank Ultimate is going to drop Force that Flash out of the Rakan as well there. So we will see what they can manage to accomplish. No ultimate, no Cataclysm from the Jarvan, not available. So he is probably going to look to invade, try to get something done. Will they be able to find this dive? I believe they're pinging for it. They really want to try to make this happen, but there's no wave here quite yet. There's going to be the hook, but the teleport is coming in. The ultimate is dropping from the Silas. He's going to be under the towers. He's going to get away, but here comes Twisted Fate right after. But they should be able to get out of here now. Garen trying to find the kill on to Joker. Joker running away. It does get hit by that hook, though, from the Garen, as Garen's going to go down, as the Misfortune will get away with her life, as all of a sudden it is a disaster for the bot lane play for the side of Astral Marauders. As now they're going to force the flash out of the Twisted Fate, but they are still going to be able to find the kill for the Lucian. Or maybe not. No, they're not able to find the kill for the Illusion. The Illusion goes down. I thought Kibbles had died, but not quite, as now Jarvan's in a bad spot. Or is he? Because the rest of his team is here. That's a triple kill for the Silas. And it is just an early game domination for Shimuwu.
Yeah, Shimuwu doing a really good job here, starting off 5-0-1. And as you can already tell, Dorado, they're already up 4,000 gold. This is not looking good for the side of Astra.
No, the Astral Marauders are not having a good time at all. Kibbles wants to go in onto those Rakan. Rakan in a bad spot could get collapsed on, but with Lucian in the area, it's a little bit of a difficult situation for them, as this Flag and Drag will get Cafe out of here. He will be just fine. Yes, Xin Zhao is on the hunt, but he is not going to be able to find that at all. Not in a million years, as now we see the Twisted Fate looking, but he's just going to get stunned up, going to take so much damage. Half his HP is already gone as he is dead. Shimuwu says, "You are not allowed to walk up to me." And he gets taken down yet again, 6-0-1 on Shimuwu.
Shimuwu is just absolutely dominating this, and we are going to be having a replay coming up here in just a second's time.
Yeah, looks like I'll let you take this one here for the dive.
Yep, but just look at that hook from Kibble. Waiting, not waiting, just linking it off right before the TP comes in. And then there's the TF ult. He just kind of shows up a little bit late. And then of course Silas is hiding in the bush. They realize, look, we can turn him. This TF has provided no value during this entire fight, and this is gonna be an easy kill for us. And sure enough, you see right here. There's the grab. Flash, you walk in, and guess what?
Looking towards the live real quick, we do see Jarvan going in with that Cataclysm, as they will be able to find a kill, maybe with that stopwatch. It is a certainty. There it is, as the Lucian tries to fight his way up, but he is just not able to do it. The Misfortune and the Jarvan, they're just too strong, especially after they got all that money earlier. As it is 10-1, the gold lead is insurmountable at this point. The Nautilus is here trying to find a play onto Toby Larone. Will they be able to do it? The Xin Zhao is waiting in the wings, trying to find a play as well. As here he comes, he's going in, trying to find that knock-up onto the Gangplank. Gangplank is going to drop his ultimate, as now they're going to send the Twisted Fate up. He's going to find that stun. Will it be enough damage? Kibbles is getting low. Will finally drop, as Garen is going to go down next, as Gangplank's going to find that one. Twisted Fate, does he have the damage to keep chasing? It does not look like it. Maybe a few more autos, but guess who's here? It's the bane of his existence. Shimuwu finds yet another kill, goes godlike after getting that one onto Twisted Fate, as the dogs are just 2 steps ahead every single time the Astral Marauders want to make something happen.
Yeah, I definitely want to say it feels good to play TF unless your opponent just has a really strong engager, such as someone like Silas. Like someone even in chat said, poor dude has to play TF.
Got a replay coming at you real quick just to show you that bot lane fight that we cut most of. So we'll bring that up real quick. Assuming nothing happens with this Nautilus, I doubt he'll be able to find something. We do have Xin Zhao running down, so unless Rakan, you know, kind of bait something out, doubt that's gonna happen. So no, we can go ahead and get that replay pulled up.
So as we do see here, right there, locks away the team. The team supports him. And then the MF ult just kind of throws in, and the stopwatch just says, "Yeah, I'm not dying here."
Yeah, Rakan almost dying here, as that's going to be the ult from the Lucian, but now the Cataclysm is going to make it very hard for him to do anything. Lucian trying to dash away, trying to do anything, just not allowed to do so. Finally, Rakan is able to pop that ultimate, but it just doesn't matter. Look at this, Silas doing whatever he wants. Astral Marauders, you are not allowed to play the game when that man is on the map. 8-0-1, that is Dorado Gaming Zeta this game. Having so much money. If we could get a look at those gold graphs as well, or not a gold graph, or if we do have a graph. Oh,
Gold
look
difference?
at that. We do. As we can
Yeah,
see
that's,
just how bad it actually is.
As we do notice, we do see where Team
Oh
Astra
my
had
God.
a nice gold lead of about 672, and then unfortunately Dogs has turned it around now to an 8.5k lead.
Yep, as we had just seen a tower go down, a kill go over. I mean, the dogs are just absolutely dogging these guys. It is a nightmare if you are Astral Marauders. I think the early game went exactly how you didn't want it to go. You would, a big part of it was how well Shimuwu on this Silas ended up doing. It's one thing. There's a lot of factors that go into why the Silas is super good here. One, it's a counter to TF based on like the fact that you can probably get solo kills if TF greeds for the wave or doesn't trade properly, or greeds its trades, doesn't dodge the E. Silas is gonna have a field day. We'll find those solo kills. We saw that just earlier where he did find those solo kills, and of course any type of cross map play that you want to make with Twisted Fate, or you want to go with the play onto the bot side or onto the top side, it's going to be immediately followed by the Silas. In fact, Silas actually, in that bot lane play that we saw way earlier, ulted first, and TF was the one following up on him. So if you pick Twisted Fate into, oh wait just a second, as the Twisted Fate is going to go down, Rakan will be falling right after, as it is a 19-2 lead. Dorado Gaming Zeta going off in game number 2. Seems pretty unlikely that they're going to lose this one, as now Iron Mike might go down, but with that ultimate, we'll make sure that he doesn't take a little bit extra damage, as he'll be just fine for now. Oh, but Cafe wants him. The Flag and Drag will not quite hit because of the flash from Iron Mike, as he will get out.
But now the big thing is, is Cafe going to attempt to, so he's just going to be walking towards the bot side. I thought maybe he was going to try and sneak around and try and find the Zintel for some spicy Dorado plays that we know and love.
Yeah, could have seen that happening for sure, as they're going to see Joker right there with Kibbles. They will not continue backing, will not be allowed to continue backing, rather, as instead Garen starts running up towards that top lane so he can actually catch that wave. But it might be too little too late, as Dorado Gaming Zeta will just barely miss that hook onto this TF, who, by the way, 0-7-1 is struggling in this game. 55 CS at 14 minutes is having an exceptionally bad time trying to survive in this game.
Yeah, because I was going to comment that as we saw Silas on bot lane, we did see his TP upgrade. That is telling us that we are now only 14 minutes into this game, and it's already 19-2 Dorado with a 12k gold lead.
12k gold lead is usually pretty insurmountable. It's generally going to mean the game is over. As we can see, Dorado Gaming Zeta already being heavy favorites, it's pretty unlikely that we'll see them end up losing this one. Anything's possible. This one is going to be I'm trying to think of how you would go about coming back in this game, which I think is literally Lucian needs to kill. Lucian needs to get a penta and claim, or he can get a quadra, but claim every single bounty that's on the board. Kill Silas again for the next bounty that he probably has stored away, and then solo carry the game. That's the only way you end up winning this one. And I believe Lucian is ulted up by that Nautilus, trying to survive as much as he can, as they will be able to find the kill onto Rakan, but will they be able to turn it around any further with Shimuwu on the flank? I don't think so. They just start cleaning everything up. Yes, the Jarvan goes down. That is only 1-4-4 in that situation. Garen in the top lane trying to survive, trying to take down this gangplank, will probably not be allowed to do so. Fireplans is ready to take this tower. Garen starting to back, as the rest of Dorado Gaming Zeta want to go ahead and take as much as they can. Starts taking the mid lane as well as just Kibbles, just the support. Red wants to go ahead and take this one away. Shamu on the bot side, taking away this bot tower, at least starting to damage it a little bit. Fireflans will be able to take away that top tower as well, as it is just an absolute massacre for the side of Dorado Gaming Zeta, trying to take this game as cleanly as possible.
Yeah, and if we can go ahead and quickly pull up the EXP charts, because there's quite a big level discrepancies going around here. Yeah, as we see, yeah, we definitely see the level differences there, with only Toby being just a little bit above Cafe, and Shimubu, Fireflans, and Joker absolutely leading this game right now.
It's insane to me that Joker is a higher level and is leading an XP on every single member on the enemy team, including which includes the solo lane. It's like Toby Larone is like trying to keep up, but also Iron Mike has more XP than the Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate is like, he's playing mid lane, he's playing the solo lane, but he has not been playing the game of League of Legends. He's not been allowed to, is the way to put it. Even if he's like, regardless of if he's playing it well or not, I mean, this Jarvan, the Sylas are just not allowing him to play. It's just, with the Medjais, of course, being at 18 stacks, it's wild to me that's not complete. It means that he's only had that Medjais completed for so long, because if he completed it sooner, he'd have full stacks right now, 0 deaths. I think this is definitely one of those games where you are perfectly fine building Medjais. And on Sylas, it feels pretty bad to deal with, as now here's Jarvan trying to find some help for his team, as they will find the shutdown on to that Gangplank. Teleport is coming through from the Sylas. As soon as he gets here, it will be the cleanup crew. There he is. They will pop the GA. Will it be enough to find anything else with the flash over the wall? That's going to be Sylas taking with that Garen ultimate for a kill for himself. Double kill for Shimuwu. Wants to go for even more. I believe that will fully stack up his Medjais now. He's going to want a little bit more, but just won't be quite allowed to get in there. Could absolutely 1v3 that one. Yep, fully stacked up. Medjais now is doing great for himself. He's going to pop this Riptail. Might look to end the game. A great hook onto the Rakan. Will it be enough? He is rooted for so long, but it's just not enough to find the kill quite yet. Shimuwu wants to try to go forward. The hook is going to swing wide. Will probably only be able to crash that Riptail one more time before they get pushed out of the base.
Yep, definitely have to agree with you there. And as we, yeah, I kind of want to look at the gold XP not the gold XP, but the gold difference. As we know, it is going to be very, like Mount Everest for Dorado. Yep, there it is. You see the peak. Look, this is one of those games that you're just kind of waiting for it to end. As Iron Mike even just stands in the end hold as he realizes, yep, I didn't land my W, so I just lose.
Well, Rakan was trying to find a play onto Joker. Joker is just not going down, though, as Joker is perfectly fine to find these fights, as now Sylas is cutting off the rest of the team. The Scrying Orb is going to drop down, as he will go down, or rather the far sight. That's what I meant to say, as we will see the Garen to go down very shortly as well, taking a lot of damage. That's going to be the ace for the Gangplank. He will seal it right there, as Dogs are probably going to look to try to end this game, hopefully before 20 minutes here. Not hopefully, but maybe before 20 minutes. They could.
I do want to say the fastest we've had in VRS, at least on stream. I don't know about off stream, but on stream I do want to say it was about 22.5, which
Maybe
I believe was our week 4 matchup.
That would be pretty hype if they could beat it here. Not hype for Astral Marauders, but at this point,
well, hype for the stream.
Yeah, that's true. Because at this point, we're really not discussing if Dorado Gaming Zeta is going to beat Astral Marauders. I like to try to stay, you know, as optimistic as I can, but this is a game where if Astral Marauders win, it would take a miracle and countless ints in a row from Dorado Gaming Zeta. This game is not in Astral Marauders' hands at all. They don't have the damage to fight. They don't have. I think if they're gonna win a fight, they have to rely on the damage of their towers or their fountain. Because their champions just right now are not going to cut it. Xin Zhao has fallen behind, so he's not really a champion. Lucian falling behind is also detrimental. He gets absolutely blown up by everybody on this enemy team. Garen not allowed to 1v1 the Sylas at all, especially since Sylas has his ultimate. As Garen's going to run away, will not be able to get away enough, and goes down to the Sylas, who just ults him with his own ult. As Iron Mike has disconnected, maybe some connection issues. Maybe was a pause that we just happened to miss, where he's just going to sit in the fountain. As there's the pause that finally
There's the
comes
pause.
through, which is hopefully some connection issues as we can go ahead and jump to the desk, kind of talk about this game real quick. As of course this one is all but over. I want to know where you think personally we can kind of identify where it started. I want to know where you think it was kind of the game was 100% over.
Um, yeah, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly when the game was 100% over. I mean, we could just call it now what's the 100%, as we do see them on Baron, and especially with Iron
Yeah.
Mike DCing, there's not going to be much of a chance to steal this. So you could say that this Baron steal is going to be the 100% game over, but I do believe it was about. I want to say whenever Silas. I don't know the exact time, but whenever Silas upgraded into the Magi Soul Stealer.
Yeah, I think once you have the Oh, I think once you have the confidence to go ahead and have that Magi's, it becomes pretty terrifying. We can also take a look at one of the last fights here if you want to go ahead and take a look.
Yeah, this is one I was talking about. Where Iron Mike just kind of stood in that wilderness. You just see Silas just kind of swinging in, and then he walks around and he goes, "Oh hey, I see the Citadel, and now the Citadel is not the map anymore." Of course, he sounds like the narrator does all of this swinging chain. But a 1-4 gameplay with the sword, and that is the ace. For Dorado Gaming, I'm also trying to keep an eye on the chat to see if we have any word. It appears Iron Mike has reconnected, and play is about to resume. So we are going to be throwing it back to the game here in just a moment. To say, should be starting up here in just a moment.
So excited to see how the rest of this game goes. Apparently the timer is stuck at 0, which
Yeah,
is a
I'm looking
little
up.
strange.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat and it says R. Sorry again. Oh, there it goes. So we are going to be watching Dorado beating up this Baron, and unfortunately Iron Mike is just going to have to sit in base. Because there's up, and it appears. Okay, he disconnected and then immediately reconnected, but unfortunately the Baron is going to be going over to Dorado Gaming, which I mean is just going to kind of seal it away.
There was like the
Apparently,
tiniest. Go on.
sorry. Apparently, according to the chat, and as we have Riot's famous pause, apparently the Zinzel said, "Sorry, got a phone call about my friend's dog catching on fire." That is a bit concerning.
That is a reason to DC. That sounds like a pretty legitimate reason. Especially if the dog did in fact catch on fire. I think that would warrant a DC, or at least a pause. Definitely would warrant a pause.
It's
especially
definitely a pause.
combat. As we will see someone just get absolutely exploded. I didn't see who it was, but Silas is currently trying to 1v5 just about everything. He does have the Nautilus there to help him out, so it's not quite a 1v5. In fact, stole his 1v5 Penta. He didn't need you. Get out of here. As we will see the Silas finally be taken down, as his Magi's will get wiped off Summoner's Rift. But Garen will be taken down as well right after. The damage is already done to the base. They're going to go ahead and start taking away this inhib. If they can go ahead and take this Nexus as well, that will be a game, of course. That is the rules of League of Legends. Maybe, though, if they can hold out just a little bit longer, if they can't quite end. Without the fact that Silas, or with the fact that Silas isn't here, yep, everyone's going to get pushed off, and that is, that's going to hurt Silas a little bit. He's going to have 8 of those stacks taken down. Not what he wanted to happen there. Not at all. So if you were ever going to try to come back, now's the time. I can't remember who got the kill. I think it was Garen who ulted him. So
I do believe I heard we have a replay coming in, so we will actually be able to see who stole the kill. Silence knocking him out. Oh, it's actually Kibbles, but not only stole the kill of the Citadel after the insane. Of course, Silas just cleans it up, but Garen says, "Nope, this is my time. I want the kill. Silas, give me your money." And back on the live game, Silas just dominating once again. Unfortunately, there goes Rakan. Silas killing another Misfortune, kills the Lucian. This is just not even pretty anymore.
Nope, but Garen's going back in, trying to find a kill for himself, and he'll find yet another shutdown, but it just doesn't matter because he gets taken down. Next up will be these Nexus turrets. Second one will fall, not quite beating the record of shortest game on stream, but making it pretty damn close. We'll be able to take that Nexus down, and that will be the Dogs 2-0ing the Astral Marauders.
Yep, the final score time of 24:10. Again, I'm not 100% certain what the final official time was. Fastest game. So honestly, this 24:10 might be the fastest game.
Without an FF, for sure. We've seen a lot of FFs near the end of last split. I expected to see another one here in game number 2, because, man, that was a little bit painful for the Astral Marauders. It was sort of to be expected, given some of the rank disparities coming in, but hopefully they can keep their chins held high coming out of this one and go back to the tape and find something to latch onto that they, they can be happy with, or things to learn. But sometimes it's really hard when it's as much of a molly-whopping as this was. I mean, is there anything you guys want to latch onto quickly to pat the Marauders on the back for and say, well, at least you did this, or at least you did that? Because it's really all about keeping that mental secure for the Marauders at this point.
I think their bot lane played pretty decently throughout both series, and I think their jungler played okay. And I think their top laner was a good neutralizer, all things considered. And I think their mid laner was certainly a target. I don't think he played exceptionally bad in game number 2. I just think he was targeted. He was probably a little tilted after, having it is always a pretty big ego hit when you do play one of the champions that you're best on and you lose the game. So when you're playing something that you get counterpicked again on, it makes it 10 times harder because you're already in that state of mind of, "Oh, I just lost on a champion that I'm like really good at," and it can very easily spiral out of control from there.
Yeah, that it can. But, credit where credit is due. Dogs came, took care of business. They maybe, you could argue, trolled a little bit in game number 1, but mostly did what they needed to do to get the season off on a good foot, continue right where they left off in terms of momentum. And we do have the oh, never mind. Somebody's already started the poll for me. Thank you to production. I was ready to get that going. But we do have the MVP poll going on. So please do select which of the Dogs members you thought had the best series here. And that's a big toss-up. But how are you guys feeling? Because obviously it was such a dominant 2 games. You could really make arguments for anybody. But where are you leaning right now, starting with you, Kong?
Starting with me, I definitely have to. Okay, as much as I love jungle and I always support any jungler that I see, it's gotta go to Shimuwu.
Shima.
Yeah,
Shima. It's not
Shimuwu.
Shimuwu. I
No,
refuse.
Shimuwu definitely popped off this game.
Yeah,
I do have to
Shimuwu.
agree.
I definitely say Shimuwu, best person out there. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead, sit right here, and just keep voting.
Oh,
I
okay.
I can only vote once. This is rigged.
What the heck? And here I was training up, playing Cookie Clicker, right? Getting ready to waste all my Growth coin uh, on inflating the vote totals of my favorite player. I've never done that before in a Victoris MVP poll. By the way, that is not an admission of guilt to anything. But Shogun, coming on over to you. Any thoughts besides? Well, I guess you're mostly in agreement, right? I'm not getting out of the Shimuwu clause here.
No, no,
It's a shame.
he's
A
just
shame?
too
A
good.
shame.
Is it like Shimuwu or Shim? I thought it was Shimuwu. I think that
What does it matter?
because
according to the votes,
Shima.
Right, he was Shima, so Shimuwu would I would
Shimuwu.
assume.
Yeah.
Shimuwu.
Listen.
Shimuwu.
Also, I see Coffee in the chat. You didn't get robbed. That man was actually like 18-1. I don't care how much you fed him. He solo killed him first. He actually solo killed him several times throughout like this entire game or like this entire series. He did yes, you expedited the process of that man getting fed. He didn't need you. Get out of here. That man was doing everything. He stole TF's ult and ganks. He actually kind of trolled his ultimate a little bit, but he still plays the vision correctly and baits the enemy team and mind controls them into walking inside a bush that he had control warded and then slaughters them. So like you could say you got robbed, but that's just not true.
I mean, it's a classic struggle, right, between the solo laners and the jungler. Is the jungler at fault when it goes wrong? Yes. Is the jungler responsible when it goes well? No. This is just facts of League of Legends that I think every solo lane man keeps at heart. We all know it is the case, as we are just waiting for that MVP formality vote at this point to be completed so we can bring that up and show you guys the MVP. But any final overall reflections? Obviously, it was a very one-sided series. You guys feel good getting back on the desk tonight, exercising those
Absolutely.
casting muscles, putting the big brains to work, analyzing the games.
Hey, I just
Yeah.
want to say I feel good being 1-0 to start the season.
Oh,
Same.
congratulations!
We're 100%
Not just
correct.
congratulations to Kongman, by the way, for
Oh.
getting off on the right foot, but congratulations to Shimuwu, our MVP, the Silas pop-off, 26-2-16 on this series. Just an absolute banger of a performance all around. I mean, you can't discount how crazy it was on the Ari, on the Silas, diving. Wow, I cannot talk tonight. I keep mixing up words. Dipping, diving, dodging, ducking around the place with the dashes, the CCs. Just an absolute monster for Dorado Gaming tonight. So big ups to Shimuwu. But yes, especially big ups to Kongman. We're all on the right foot, gents. We start off tied 1-0. This should be a much more interesting prediction race this split around.
Hey, I almost brought it back last season, so you don't ever count me out.
That is true. It got really terrifying, but we always had the plan of just picking what Kongman picked. Because then we
Yeah,
would
but
not
what's the fun of
we
that?
couldn't lose. That's true.
It's true.
It's in
I
winning.
mean,
Fun's in winning.
once it went from
True.
a curse to a blessing, it was pretty important. I think that's when you started to abuse your power, and that's why right at the end it started to go wrong, because you knew what you could do to these teams by placing your energy on one or the other.
I missed the last game, okay? I thought Oasis would pull it out. But hey, now I'm a Dorado fan. Dorado harasses me in chat. They're like, oh, it's Cogman. And I'm like, I can't go anywhere without these guys.
Yeah, they're going to be following you around like dogs, may I say, for the rest of the split, I'm sure. But the rest of the split is ahead of us. We have closed out here on the first night. It was a bit of a sleeper 2-0 to start, but we got plenty more close, exciting matches coming up in the weeks to come. We will be back again next Thursday over on Victoris GG2. So thank you guys all so much for coming out this week. We'll see you then. Have a great night, and adios.